Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome. Sorry, looking at the camera now. Uh, I, for some reason, had some issues with the audio. I've been having OBS and mixer issues, so I'm hoping the audio is okay. Uh, Ran into that earlier this week. Can you guys let me know if you can hear me okay? Chime in the comments. Let me know you can hear me okay. That way I know. And while you're chiming in, go ahead and tell me where you're tuning in from this lovely Friday. Yeah, it's Friday, and we're doing a live stream on the 28th, right? Like we always do, but it happens to be on a Friday this month. Coming up in June on the 14th and 28th, our next calls, in other words, those will be on a Monday, I believe. So we go from like having calls on Fridays to having them on Monday, which should be interesting. Anyway, let me scroll on down here to the live stream inside of Facebook. I'm just doing this on my screen so I can see if I can. Nope, it did play the audio. Interesting. But it did not
Hey,
play it.
how's
Anyway, it did not play the audio for me um, to hear in the headset. So I'll have to take a look at what that's all about. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, I've also been trying some new stuff with some of the setup for OBS. It didn't affect the mixer stuff. It was more camera related. So now I'm actually able to look at the camera and see you guys. I'm using like a little bit of teleprompter glass and my iPad actually on the Zoom call, so I can look at the camera and actually be looking at you instead of looking off to other screens to look at you, which makes it look like I'm not really paying attention, even though I really am. Because I know sometimes that can be annoying for people. All right, that said, nobody's chiming in. Am I the only one here today? Maybe because it's Friday? I don't know. We'll find out. But what I am going to do, as always, I'm going to post in the I'm going to post in the link to Zoom. So if you want to come in live, it's in the comment section of the live stream inside of the Ring Ads Facebook group, and free to join that if you're not already in that. Those of you that are currently watching from inside the group, that's where you'll be able to find the link to join the Zoom. And the reason you might want to join the Zoom is if you want to ask your questions live. If you have something going on in your agency, if you need help with, could be anything from campaign creation, optimization, advanced optimization for some of you, client acquisition, you name it. So if you need help with that, uh, you can come in live, ask your questions there, or if you want to ask your questions in the comments section of the live stream, I'll be more than happy to answer that if I see them, right? And typically those are going to be the comments that are inside of the Ring Ads Facebook group. That's why I was telling you, go join that. It's free to join anyway. Uh, and thank me later on that one. Okay, Andy's here. Haven't seen him in a while. Says hi. That's via chat. Dennis is here. Let's see. I'm here in the San Jose at the same. I'm here and in San Jose at the same time. That's awesome. As always, welcome to everybody. So that means you guys can hear me, and that's good. So I was worried the audio was having some issues, and I guess I still kind of am on my end. If I couldn't hear the intro, the nice little ring ad intro, I couldn't hear that. So anyway, I'll figure that out. That's a me thing for another time. Ah, man, I hope you're busy. If you're not, now would be a good time to start getting busy because everything's starting to open up again, US wise, stateside wise, and that means people are ready to do business. And matter of fact, uh, the struggle right now for most businesses is not the demand for calls. It's actually, of course, my Facebook's Messenger is going to pop off. It's actually not demand, which is what we provide, right? We or the supply rather. It's actually the employee side. It's actually the employee side, meaning people are having trouble, so they say, staffing up. And the trouble that people are having, Andy, it's in the Zoom links inside the Facebook group, inside the Ring Ads Facebook group, right? In the comment section of that group. Colin's with us. Hey, Colin. Uh, so back to where the local business challenges. Local businesses are facing now a more difficult time than ever. And I told you that I'm not an I told you so kind of guy, but I will tell you this, remind you that I did say it was going to go one of two ways based on how the election turned out, right? And forget about politics. We're talking strictly business here, okay? One way was going to be continued growth and reopening of the country, and based on past performance, explosive growth in the markets, and of course, obviously in the business sector. Um, that would impact this, right? To the positive. So business as usual, or returning to business as usual. Right now, everybody thinks that it's time to return to business as usual. The problem is it's not returning to business as usual, because it's like showing up late for class or something. You missed that first couple of minutes, but those first couple of minutes were key. And so now you're trying to play catch up. So a lot of local businesses say, oh, we can't find the staff, we can't find the people, nobody wants to work. That's partially true because of the benefits have been extended to at least September here, unemployment benefits, and a lot of lower end jobs. I say lower end, lower paying jobs actually uh, it pays people more to be on unemployment than it does and just sit around and do nothing or do something else with their time on the side, if you will, for cash, than to work that job, right? And so then they have no desire to go back to that. And of course, we've been out of work, so to speak, or locked down for how long, right? A lot of people. And so when you look at it from that with those eyes, you'll see, forget again about politics and all that kind of stuff, how the country is being reopened slowly, but at the same time still opening. And now the demand for employment and staff is there. The thing is, though, because of proposed tax plans, which is going to be, it's going to hit really hard, and it's going to hurt really, really bad for pretty much every business out there, um, even the ones good at minimizing taxation, which there's nothing wrong with minimizing taxation within the letter of the law. Uh, but it's going to hit hard, and businesses are preparing for that, so they don't want just anybody being hired. They want the best of the best. The problem is the talent pool is actually too large, and not lazy, but has gotten used to the idea of working remote, and also understanding that in a lot of professions, it's actually more possible than ever now to work remote. We're experiencing like this transition and shift in the way society thinks as a whole about how business can be done versus how we think it can be done versus how it should be done, kind of a thing, right? We now see that other things are possible. Like you guys and I, we've known about Zoom for years, right? We've been using it on my live calls for, God, 2016, right? 2017, early 2017, long before the pandemic. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, I'm an early adopter. No, I just needed something that worked. Zoom worked. It made sense. I linked it into my OBS and off we went to the races, right? But now everybody and their brother pretty much knows what a Zoom call is, even if they don't actually use them all the time. They've been on one, or they've seen it, they know it, they've used it. The growth that Zoom experienced among other platforms was explosive because of the changes that I'm talking about. So it's pretty interesting to see how that affects the business. So you'll run into some potential clients that will say, well, I'm actually getting all the business I can handle. I need to hire people, right? And a lot of times that comes down to finding out their hiring practices and who they're looking for specifically. Because, and I'm not saying you need to go become a recruiting agency either for your clients. Definitely go above and beyond for them. And if you know of somebody in the area, point them in that direction, right, to the potential clients. But it's not your job to be their employment recruiter. At the same time, that doesn't mean that you can't give them some perspective of, okay, well, when are you thinking about having this person hired? Like, when do you need this person hired by? Usually that's what it comes down to, the numbers. And as you start exploring those numbers with them, it's like, okay, well, when that happens, then you're going to have not enough calls, right? I'd much rather you be prepared for the going for the transition from I've got too many calls coming in to not enough, to actually kind of smooth that out for you, and help you stabilize and smooth out the growth that, or regrowth in some cases, for the companies that are in businesses that are reopening, right? Or opening up, let's say, more, or rehiring and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, just something to take into to account here. I've been noticing over the last 30 days or so, that's it's pretty common. It's an objection you might run into, but it's not really an objection. It's a stall tactic, and it's mostly used because the business owner doesn't know what to do next. Like they thought they were only ever going to have to grow the business once, kind of a thing, right? Or it's been so long since they've had to kind of go back and start from not square one, but maybe even been knocked down a few pegs and have to build back up. It's been a while since they've had to go into that mode or do that. And so to be able to help them, obviously, walk through that logically and see where their need for your services are going to come not only in handy, but be clutch, right? Which means really, really good. Uh, Looks like we've got Andy wanting to come into the Zoom room. I'll let him in real quick. Andy, go ahead and mute your Facebook feed for me as I let you in the room here. I'm gonna.
Hi, William.
Oh, hey, bud. Oh, you already muted the feed. Cool. What's going on, man?
How you doing? All right, mate. Good to see you.
I'm good, man. It's good to see you too, bud. It's been a minute.
How you doing? Yeah, it's been a while. How you going?
Yeah, good. What's up?
No, I just looking to make a bit of a return, and it's obviously been a little while since I've done anything with the call only, and just wanted to. I've got some my job's going to go very quiet in the summer.
Okay.
And I'm going to have a lot more time, so I would just want to sort of like get my head straight on if I, I'll say get back on the dialer, but it doesn't work anymore, does it? But what I would need to do to put in and any other changes, that kind of stuff, just to get my head straight really on what I would need to do to make it work.
Okay. Well, I'd say a good refresher on the sales process, start to finish would be good, especially with the script. That's kind of where we left off, right?
Yep.
As far as new service, I mean, Leads Rain works really well. They're a dime a dozen, but Leads Rain's pretty solid. So, using something like that, you can opt to do both at the same time, ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting, or you can segment them out like day by day.
Mm-hmm.
So you would do like ringless voicemail on Tuesday and then voice broadcasting on Wednesday, right? And email on Thursday, for example. I would break it up like that. It does seem to help in terms of follow up and knowing where people came from and what's your most effective advertising channels, things like that. But yeah, remind me what vertical you were going after. It's been a minute.
Tow trucks.
That's right, towing. Well, now more than ever, people are on the road, so there's definitely demand there, and there's probably a shortage of drivers. So, again, what I was explaining earlier about companies going through that growth, those growing pains, that's definitely going to be something you're going to come across in your prospecting. It's not going to keep you from doing business. You use it to your advantage and their advantage ultimately, but just be aware that that will come up in conversation, 100%.
Okay. The other thing I'm going to ask you, like when I got into, I chose the reason I chose tow truck. It was like COVID. I was locked down, and money wasn't good. I chose it because the insane volume was high for the
Right.
200,000 a month, and it was the cheapest cost per click I could see. And I just figured it's the quickest way to learn because the CPC isn't much. But there's now some affiliate offers, and I'm just wondering, like, if I'm venturing back into it, is it still? Did I pick a good vertical or
No, it's a great vertical, man. It's a great vertical. It's always going to be a good vertical, at least in our lifetime. Even as we switch over to EVs, have you seen? I don't know if you have or not, but have you seen anything like about the EV jumpstart guys or the packs that tow trucks carry around now for EV cars that break down or need a charge? Yeah,
No,
it exists, and it's not like every tow company has that or every tow truck has it, but soon, right? That's the direction things are heading. And so I don't foresee a future where tow trucks aren't going to be needed. Um, they're always going to be needed, right? At least until we figure out how to um, not to teleport, I guess. I don't know, till we don't need transportation anymore of some kind.
That's going to be a little while.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say yes, it's an excellent vertical to be in now more than ever. It's summertime. Um, what else? There's things are opening back up, and so as things open back up, people are going to be out and about more, which means their cars break down and the numbers go up, obviously. So even people looking for jobs, running around town looking for jobs, cars break down, cars run out of gas, cars overheat. summertime, right? Uh, Lots of things happen to vehicles over here, and it's still an excellent vertical. As far as pay per call offers, it's possible you're not seeing it. Um, they're out
There's
there, but
two. They
yeah,
pay like $3.
yeah. Well, they
$3. I
always
mean, it's
yeah
like,
they always pay very very low. They always pay very very low, and the reason is because most towing companies are not used to the idea of paying for a phone call, but they're
yeah,
also preconditioned or used to the idea of being told what they're going to make on a tow, which really sucks. It's kind of like being 28 and living at home. Not trying to embarrass
yeah,
anybody if you are 28 and live at home. I'm just saying there's a point in time where the parent telling the child at 28 years old to be home by 10, that doesn't make sense anymore, kind of a thing, right? Like that's, and so there's like a conversation of what I would call enlightenment with most of your potential clients. It's going to be when the light bulb comes on, you're going to hear how grateful they are because they're used to, I got to do this. I got to have this insurance. I got to jump through this hoop. I got to have this in the order. I've got to have my dot stuff up to spec. My truck's got to be good to go. And then I have all this paperwork and applications. There's a ton of hoops for them to jump through and stay current on all that stuff before they can ever receive money from a service that would send them a call like AAA or whatever, right? And then they get told you can only charge this much per mile, you only get this much per pickup, and then anything beyond that you can charge within this window or exactly this amount. Versus, hey, you just pay me $20, you can charge whatever the hell you want.
yeah.
uh, you
That's what
know,
I'm charging, $20. I don't know if you remember that, but that's what I'm
that's what I'm
charging.
saying. Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
So that's a totally, when you lay it out like that, they're like, wow, I didn't know that even existed. Or yeah, I'll give that a shot because how many calls are they going to have to go on before they know that your calls are worth money, right? If they put $100 down as a deposit, that's still at least 5 calls for them to go on and say, yeah, these calls make money. And he's right. I got to charge whatever I wanted to charge, and didn't have. I wasn't in the rotation because that's what they do. Put everybody in a round robin rotation kind of a thing, for the next call to come in where my truck's sitting on down, with downtime. So there's another added, problem, um, that you're not going to have. You've got calls, they come in direct to them, they handle them, easy peasy, right? That's it. So yeah, it's totally,
yeah,
it's going to come up in conversation, right? Another one of those things, but that conversation is actually a lot of fun to have because they really get it
yeah.
once you
I think
explain it.
I just gave up too early last time. I had a lot going on. But like also, there's a few other things. Like I went, been ages since I even looked at. I looked at my. I mean, I know it's in pounds, but I was generating a call for £6.95. That's the ones with the flying I sent to.
And
When that campaign,
that was also a smart campaign, right? If I recall.
no, that was just I did that for like 8 calls. I rebuilt the when I did that, you said don't do it, so I stopped it and I used the campaigns in the mirror and I rebuilt it as per that. Um, and
Okay.
I was just curious what you think with the optimization. I could get that. Would you expect to get it? 20% reduction or something, or
Well, it depends on the area you're running them in, but I've seen anything
that was it.
from in towing, I've seen anything from like $1.50 to like for a good call, all the way up to um, 9, $10, depending on the area and also the call. But all calls are at that rate would be in profit, right? And that's the main
Mm.
thing there. Yeah.
That's that's the thing. Is that my client was in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I just think it was cheaper, and it probably is. But I did a couple of test calls, and they still. I listened to the calls. They just don't want to. They're not very good on the phone. So what I figured I was going to do, I don't know what you thought, was just to set up a new client where I can get a whole bunch of calls recorded with the calls actually get dispatched, and then I
Right.
was going to put them onto my client taking site, maybe write some sales copy on it. No contract, your leads exclusive, live inbound, never share with anybody. on the money taking site. And I just wonder what you thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can add call recordings and of course edit out the sensitive information, but yeah,
Sure.
anytime you can
Yeah.
do that. Absolutely. Um, use those for your prospecting, attach them to emails as attachments, MP3s.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
MP3s are more trusted actually because in MP3 it's like it's not a PDF, it's not clickbait, it's not some kind of scammer. It's very clear
Mm.
what this is, and if the calls are labeled, if the files are labeled correctly, then they're going to know that that's a potential prospect call for them or a prospect call for them to listen to. So yeah, those are all do those absolutely. Lexington's not a bad
Okay.
place to start. It just sounds like maybe you didn't run into the right company
Right.
to run that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and it's
Well, I had
also a
another one,
smaller
but
city. You're talking
yeah.
about a city that's like just north of like what, quarter million for the county, I think, somewhere in there. It's not small, but it's also not like it's not the same thing as Atlanta or Chicago or San
This
Antonio or
this
right.
that was yeah. That was one of the questions. I thought that maybe I should get a new client in New York, or I remember you saying about
Not New York. I'd stay. Yeah,
Washington.
I'd
No,
stay away.
okay, Washington.
Yes,
You were saying all over Washington. I can maybe do Atlanta,
Washington State or
Washington,
D.C.
DC.
Yeah, I'd stay away from that for a while too.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. Think. I mean, look at the map and pick any city north of 500,000 that's not like that's not Washington, that's not New York. Um,
Okay.
for some reason, and stay away from LA initially. Not that it's bad; these are not bad areas, but it's harder to cut your teeth on. Think of it as like meat, different cuts of meat.
Hmm.
The meat you just mentioned is like not tenderized at all. it's it's really really tough, which means if you don't have the chops for it, you're gonna pull your teeth out, and then where will you be, right? Versus getting solid with a dozen, couple dozen clients in other bigger cities, and then expanding out from there, not just to the other cities that we mentioned initially, but smaller cities such as Lexington or Louisville, right? Where there's going to be business, but uh, it's not going to be as much as the bigger cities. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I've considered that when the prospecting data be a mirror, that obviously goes like the whole of the US. Should I like just maybe be scraping leads myself and just doing, I don't know, Lexington or Atlanta or something, whatever, just and have it that in the voice message and the voice drop that it's the coming live calls coming in Atlanta. Would that be better? Like a more sort of target. Like I'm
What's
just gonna,
I'm not understanding the question.
sorry,
Can you
like
try again?
yeah, with the prospecting data they got in Mirror, obviously that covers the whole of the US. So I'm going all over the US when I'm prospecting. And I was just thinking, would it be better if I was to target, for argument's sake, Atlanta or Miami, and in the voice drop it says Miami in about the calls coming in Miami, and just sort of
You
try to
could
do
do
one
that.
city.
You could do that. It's not as efficient as targeting 5 to 10 cities at a time. That's typically what I recommend is 5 to 10 cities at a
Okay.
time, so that you're dealing with 5 to 10. So, and I would look at it as, hey, this week it's Atlanta, Chicago, San Diego, San Jose, and San Antonio. That's the ones I'm going after this week, and I'm going to pull at least two clients in each. That's the goal. And when you do it that way, you do have a focus, but it's not so targeted to where, oh man, I got my two in Chicago. Now what? Right?
Mm.
You're not geared up for anything. And so it pisses away a lot of time that you would have spent, where you can actually, in that same amount of time, close several clients in several cities and still keep a focus as opposed to going nationwide with it. And the campaign is set up just location wise because by default it's US, right? So it's not meant, I guess you could run it as a national campaign like for an affiliate offer, but it's not that it's designed that way. It's just how it comes because that's the standard location is United States that was selected. So yeah, targeting down on the campaign side is super simple.
Okay. What about like this is where like definitely gonna get my head straight. For me to make this work, I need to kind of get like a amount of time. At least I know it's not a guarantee, but Like if I can think I need like X amount of time prospecting per week, what would you say to allocate of the time?
Well, same thing I always say, which is 1 to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week in the business total. Prospecting wise, if you're starting back up, it's good to have 2 hour windows. Anytime you can have like
Hmm.
a 2 hour window. The reason why is this, like I always explain it this way. So if you had an hour, let's just go off of, let's reverse engineer this. Why do I got to have two
Hmm.
hours, William? Okay, here's why. You do an hour. When do you find your groove in that first hour? Is it minute one?
Probably, probably about 58 or something, half hour.
About half in,
Yeah,
right? Halfway.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so what does that leave you with in like where you're full steam out of the
Half
hour? What
hour.
does that leave you another half, right? How many clients can you close in a half hour realistically?
What one maximum one? You ain't get one.
At most, I'd say two.
Yeah,
Two 15-minute conversations. They better be damn good, and you better have them lined up and ready to knock over, right? But it's
yeah.
possible. On the average, though, you're right. One good conversation to lead to a sale out of that. Uh, Now, is that a bad thing? Is that a loss? No, you got a client. However, what happens in the second hour? If you added an hour to that first hour, now how much of that hour do you have where you're running full steam?
But you got 90 minutes. You got the first half hour warm up plus you're in the flow, haven't you?
And if you can pull one client in 30, how many can you pull in 90? By the numbers anyway.
Theory,
On
you could do six. You could do six.
Well, three. One in
Three,
one in 30 would
sorry.
be
Yeah.
times three would be three, right?
I
So
thought you
three,
read the
right?
first two.
I know. Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying though, by the numbers. Now here's the thing. One versus three is three times as much as, but it's
Yeah.
only an extra hour. It's not like you added 3 hours. See how it's a compound. It's what happens is a compounded effect, and that's important for you guys to under. It's a good question you asked. It's important for you to understand that everything you do in the business is compounded. Now, after you've Andy, you know this. I don't know why I said Anthony. Oh, video guy. Uh, when
Go for
you're
it.
when you're yeah when you're prospecting, after you've been prospecting for, I don't know, 3 4 times in a row, and not like every single day in a row, but just after you find a rhythm, it's not going to take you a half hour to get to full steam, Andy, right? Like you're going to be
Yeah. Yeah.
probably the first 5 10 minutes in, which does give you more leverage on the first hour. And what the reason I'm telling you that is because at some point, if time becomes an issue initially, you can get yourself to where down to where you can do like a 90-minute session. I still recommend 2 hours because it's just something about that 2 hour, just boom, and it's done for the day, and
No,
its
two
clients are
hours.
in the,
Two
yeah,
hours. 2 hours is good.
yeah.
Two
And
hours
it's
is
not
good.
like, again, for everybody else listening, you don't have to do that every day. I suggest you do 1 to 2 hours a day in the business 5 days a week at least. So that would be anywhere from 5 to 10 hours in the business per week. If you're prospecting and you're trying to go after clients, then the more time you have and the bigger the window that you can string together like that, up to a maximum of 4 hours. Nobody should ever be on the phone more than 4 hours. You burn yourself out, right? Uh, but
Yeah.
and you don't want to do 4 hours back to back to back like 3 days in a week. That's just it's doable, but man, it's very taxing on the energy. And then you end up what happens? You end up with a bunch of clients, and you got to go service them, and you got no energy to do it. So that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not starting out anyway. So yeah, that's
What I
go
may
ahead.
do, because I don't think I'm not going to be travelling outside the UK this year by the looks of it. But I would, I'm just sick of my job, honestly, mate. I just want to get out of it. But if I could, I might just take a week off or two, and just have a week at it, and just go for like 3 hours a day or something for 5 days, and just see what I can put out of it. And if I can get that, I get some inertia, I get some momentum.
Is it possible for you to take off like middle of the week or start your vacation like on Tuesday, for example?
Yeah, why is that?
Well,
Yeah, I could.
I always like to structure my time off. I told you guys the story before, right, about how I used to structure my time off in the military,
Yeah,
where I pick
yeah,
I
maybe
pick
that.
4 day weeks. I pick 4 day weeks, and then because of holidays or
I think
whatever,
I
and
need
then
that.
I
Yeah,
take those 4 days, and so I get 5 days for the price of four, right, on my vacay. Uh,
Oh, I got you.
right. And I'm not saying you have to do that on holidays. What I'm saying is because your holidays don't necessarily line up with ours, right? So that doesn't really work. What I am saying though is if you know that your prime calling days are going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which I know you know that, then why would you take Monday off?
Yeah.
Unless Monday is horrible in your job, well then, maybe use Monday as a rest and gear up day and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But if you know that Friday is good in the job and it's not as great for calling, you can get clients on Friday, you can get clients on Saturday. Uh, but not as many. We're talking prime time
Mm.
here, right? That's what we care about, prime time. So really, you just need Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if you just
Okay.
took those 3 days off, you would get a full week's worth of work out of the agency because if you can't call more than I say can't call if you shouldn't be calling more than 4 hours a day anyway, that leaves you the rest of Tuesday, the rest of Wednesday, the rest of Thursday to continue working in the business outside of prospecting. So, yeah, and all that happens within a week, and you don't burn 5 days for your vacation. So that's why I was asking for those of you that can do that,
Okay.
do stuff like that because and for those of you that are stateside and do have vacation time built up, use them holidays, baby. We got Memorial Days coming up this Monday, which I didn't take into account until recently. Uh, so Monday is a day off for people, which means Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, if you're stateside and have vacay built up, would be perfect if you could take Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week and Friday because you'd only have to take 4 days of vacation, but you'd get a full week of work plus the weekend of work in your agency. Think about that for a minute. That's leverage. That's how you take I'm stuck in the hole and don't know how I'm going to get out, and all of a
I was
sudden you have time on your hands to work, right?
I can. I mean, I'm self-employed, so I have to like still clear it with the company I work for to take the time off, so somebody else can cover the leads, etc. But I was also trying to think, like my life's a bit more stable now. I've had to change jobs again and work drama, but about trying to like just do maybe the times that are naturally free in my diary is I don't work Friday evenings. So I know it's a long week, but like if I have a bunch of Red Bull and I thought I could go prospecting maybe on a Friday evening
Well,
or a Saturday afternoon.
well, your
But
Friday
I think
evening is our Saturday morning.
no, our Friday
Excuse me,
afternoon is
Friday
also it's
Friday
Friday morning.
morning.
Friday,
Friday morning.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Friday morning would be better. Friday afternoon's horrible for prospecting. So
Okay.
if you can't do Friday, then just do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Put all your prospecting on the days that are prime time anyway. Friday morning's not bad, right? It's still prime time, but I I was just on a call with somebody earlier today, and I shit you not, I'm working with them on some really cool stuff and helping them out, and they're grateful, and it's cool, and everything's fine, except for the fact that he had just mentally checked out. It was all over his face.
Mm.
He was ready to leave
I
the
know that
call.
feeling.
Well, and so you don't want to be prospecting during those kind of times, right? And sometimes
No,
you'll run into that even on Friday morning, but very much so Friday afternoon. Even if somebody owns their own business, they're looking forward to that Friday if they have the weekend off, kind of a thing. So, um, or maybe their spouse is off on the weekends, and that's the time they still treat the weekend like the weekend, right? So, anyway,
are
just
you
just be aware.
still? Thanks, mate. Are you still recommend like the cold email with like mail merge? You know, tow trucks
Yeah,
from Denver
yet
to
another.
Portland.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
Yam is good.
it
GMass is
is.
better. Take a look at GMass. I think you'll like them, but still it uses G Suite. It's a solid setup and easy to use. There's other things like Limlist works pretty well once you warm it up. Um, but GMass, Yam, Limlist, yep. Send out your emails. They do work. They work better with recordings attached. Uh, so the idea you had earlier about pulling together recordings, right? Putting them on your site. I would also use them in your emails. Absolutely.
I just figured that if I get somebody near and I can't get them, and yeah, they go off like they did because they're obviously taking the call, that I could send them the link, and you know, they can at least see it, and then they can listen to the calls. And if I phone them back, I would have thought I'd have a higher chance, but I still know you've got to get them live on the call. I still get that, but I just figured it would increase my chances of the follow up.
I'd send it on the first email. Attach it to the first
Yeah.
email. There's templates for that, and when you do that, you'll get people that say, yeah, I can take calls like that. And you don't write them back, you call them back. That's
Mm,
the key.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty much most of the
I,
questions I had really.
okay.
Cool.
No, yeah. And by the way, I'm excited that, I'm happy first off that you're doing well. You're in a better place. That's good.
Thanks.
Um, and I'm excited that you're back to see this thing through. I've told you sometimes people have to stop for a minute, deal with what life and whatever they got going, and then
Mm,
come back to this, right? So good on you for that. Plus, a lot of your learning curve is you're hearing me like, man,
fine.
why is it so easy this time? Because your learning curve is, you've gone through
Yeah.
so much
It's,
already. Um,
I just
so
like I think, do you know what like I haven't seen it through. I've done everything, all the market research, all the website build, the client build, the client,
yep,
tried to prospect in the data, all of it, and trying to get a client manually, but I just call them up and I just thought I've just got to see it through either way. Even if I have to tell them and say, you know what, I've given it a proper shot here, but I haven't given it a proper shot, and it's killing me knowing that I've stopped on the sort of the last minute. But yeah, I've got this time coming up because in my job, in the school holidays, it's dead in direct sales. It's really dead. So I could quite easily be doing 3 2 hour sessions a week whilst working my job. It wouldn't even because the number of leads is so low. And I just wanted to like get to that point to get I think once I get one paying customer that actually stays, it will be a completely different uh, what's the ball game.
yeah. Uh, I would shoot for more than that, but yeah, your first one's
I
always
want
going to
more, but I mean
be.
just to get the first one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I was doing this. I was going to be doing this for the mentorship. I said I was going to make calls this Monday, and I uh, had issues with OBS and the mixer, so that was a no go. I've been trying to get on the phone with the mixer and my phone so that I can actually do live phone calls for them and show them just kind of as a refresher what that's like. I was wanting to do that for you guys here in the main group too, but I wanted to do it for the mentorship first. But our next call is on for the main group here is on the 14th. If you guys want me to, I can probably gear
Okay.
that up and do some calls for you guys
Yeah, man, that that
on
that
the
would be
on the.
awesome. I think that would be probably more helpful than anything I would have thought, especially if anybody else that's trying to do it. Just so you do. I know you did it in the COVID challenge last year, but
Yeah, but
just be good to.
it's been a minute.
Yeah,
People probably
that's sorry.
forgot or haven't been paying attention. That kind of thing. So no big deal.
What's
Anyway,
what
go
what's
ahead.
the I was some in the UK, but what's the feel good factor in the US like now with everything? Is it? I mean, over here we're still in lockdown. We've only you can only go back into a restaurant as of the 17th of May. That's how long it's been. But are
Yeah,
things getting better, or I mean, I know it's different from state to state over there, but I'm just trying to get an idea
things
of
are things are getting better, but think of it as like a broken arm. The broken arm is never
yeah,
it's broken. It's never going to go back to the way it was. It's going to get close, right? And it's
mm,
going to take more time. What we're seeing over here, just so you understand, is things are opening up slowly.
mm,
Some places are being more stubborn about that than others in terms of opening up. Some just simply cannot afford to not open up. Think the mayor in Jaws of what was that town called? Amity,
oh,
not
oh
Amityville,
yeah,
but Amity, right? The town of
yeah,
Amity, when wanted to open the beaches, so because it's
yeah,
tourist season and they only have so much time to make their money, right?
mm,
Vegas is a lot like that. So Vegas is having to open up. They also see that the governor of California is on the chopping block um, for his decisions, and our governor was following that governor's in lockstep in terms of how they handled the lockdown and everything. And business here has just really felt that. And I've seen people that have had their doors open for a long, long time have to close and not reopen. A good example would be like Fry's Electronics, and they decided to close their doors. I don't know, February or March of this year. And Fry's is kind of like a Best Buy slash Radio Shack competitor, and they've been around forever, and they had multiple stores, but they had to end up closing. So I guess my point is this: there are some places that are feeling the pinch financially, like I was describing to you about businesses opening up. Now there's an overwhelming need for staff and employment. However, unemployment's being provided till September. So this summer is going to be like a really funky, weird transition period. Inflation's going through the roof. It will continue to go through the roof. That's not going to help. Taxes are looking to be a real shit show here soon. That's going to be coming down the pike for all the business owners, and they're not looking forward to that. So there's all those things, and then you've got on top of that to compound everything, you've got COVID, which is um, oh, we have a government agency called the CDC. They tell us we don't have to wear masks anymore uh, because it's just not it just wasn't working to begin with.
If it
And
does
it's
sweet
like,
FA, that's why.
well, here's the thing. Everybody that refused to wear one is all I told you so about it. And then everybody
Yeah,
who,
that's me.
right. And then everybody who was wearing one is like, well, I'm still going to wear one. And it's like, come on, guys. So now you've got this like huge set of just conflicting ideas, not about masks necessarily, but about what I would consider public safety. And it's like there's people that wear seatbelts and there's people that don't, even though it's the law here, right? Uh, Same thing with masks is what I'm feeling it's going to be like, and everything is moving in a very scary direction for me personally in terms of personal freedoms when it comes to things like masks and vaccinations. That's a personal opinion, that is. However, it is affecting business because you have half of our country feels a certain way and the other half feels another way. And right now, people are still too busy trying to point the finger at each other instead of building back and putting their focus there. So what that means is you're going to have business that's turned away because somebody doesn't have a mask, which is not good. You're going to have some business owners that refuse to mask up and have their staff mask up or vaccinate, and that costs that business some business. Just weird stuff like that can impact or have an impact. It's not going to be felt significantly beyond that, though. Like in one, it's not going to be acute, like on one business or one industry as much for us and what our targets are, building the agencies, but it's still out there and it's something to be aware of. Like it's kind of like in the back of everybody's mind. Oh shit, should I take my mask? Well, yeah, I should probably take it because, and I won't wear it because I don't need to. But in case somebody starts some shit or insists that I wear one, then I at least have one so I can go and do my thing without any trouble. Um, that's kind of where we're at. We're in that weird place. Um, but I can tell you this: everybody that's in lockdown here or coming out of lockdown here is over it, has been over it, and is chomping at the bit to
Okay.
do something, anything,
Cars
and
still
that's
break
good.
down, right?
What's that?
Cars still break down. People still need a tow.
More than ever, and I got to tell you, this is one hell of an opportunity for people that are auto mechanics and tow truck drivers, and the reason and insurance companies because when cars stay dormant, shit goes wrong more often, not
Yeah,
less
true.
often, more often. It's
Yeah.
you know, they're meant to be not driven every day, but they're meant to be driven more than they have been in lockdown. So yeah, those numbers are through the roof and will continue to be through the roof for a while. Um, yep, yep, yep. Even though gas is high, it's kind of like, well, I gotta put gas in so I can.
You haven't got high gas, mate. Try $10 a gallon. What's it, 12? It's something like that. If you translate what we pay to what you pay, it's more than $10 a gallon, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah, always has been
Wow.
something stupid like that. That's why you have
Yeah.
little cars over here. You can't afford to run a 7 litre V8. It's impossible.
Well, I mean, our gas
Yes,
prices
you're very
have,
good.
yeah, they're going,
Going
they're
up.
going up, and they're going to continue to go up, and it is what it is, right? That's where we're at. However, people still need to drive, and they still need to commute to work. Um, a lot of people think, oh, well, won't there be less cars on the road if everybody can work remote? Some companies will choose to stay with their employees being remote, or at least a portion of um, their staff being remote, but not everybody. I can guarantee you they'll pull some people back into the office and keep some people remote, kind of as uh, a stop loss measures or a safety measure. That way, in case we ever go on lockdown again, the company has procedures and people in place remotely so that they can transition everybody else that's not remote anymore to remote again without any big hiccups like we had this last time. That's why people are still being able to work from home in some cases, and we'll continue that. But most everybody will return to work at some point here in the near future, and I think it's going to happen over the summer. Kids got to go back to school in the fall, so you're thinking it's going to be like mid-August on to like mid-September is when school starts for most places here in the States. And so once that happens, um, you're going to see a lot of people, a lot of unrest. I will say that. Um, Not sure where that leads, but I will tell you that there will be some uncertainty around that time, which means in people's personal lives. Which why the hell would that matter? Well, if you're on the phone with a potential client and in the back of his mind he's freaking out about schools and vaccines and his children and his wife or whatever, or all of that. And there's taxes that's coming down the pike for his business. And there's a shortage of staff still because unemployment got extended for some magical reason. But there's a lot of things like that that can not distract, but be in the back of somebody's mind. Um, and you're talking to them about how to grow the business, but they don't understand maybe at this time why that's a necessary thing, an important conversation. Seriously, um, not because they're dumb or anything. It's just because they're overwhelmed. They're getting attacked from every possible angle. You know, um, crazy but true.
A couple of other bits I meant to ask you. Are you because I'm doing a lot better in life in general. I was wanting to venture into the affiliate side. I was thinking about venturing into the affiliate side of things. Obviously, I haven't got to do prospects and fulfillment. And just wonder what your thoughts on that is, or you always say stick with agency.
Yeah, well, the agency because it's more profitable out of the gate. Not that affiliate offers aren't profitable out of the gate. Some are, some aren't. You're going to have to sort through the offers, which means spend some money um, and some time, and you're going to need to optimize things like that. When you dial in a campaign on the national level, even or regional, for an affiliate offer, and it's profitable, life is pretty good, no doubt, and you can repeat that process, no doubt. Um, it's the thing is though, the margins are tighter, right? In a lot of
Okay.
cases, even on the profitable campaigns, the margins are tighter. Uh, on the local side, you can pull, especially for towing, for example, you can pull as much as 3 or 4 to 1 on your money in towing, meaning for every dollar you spend in ads, you can make 3 to 4 back in towing, going direct to clients. In an affiliate offer, your margins will be more like you got to dial it in first and get profitable. And then as you have days that are in the black and you stay in the black, your profit margins are going to be like, I don't know, uh, well, not even 20%, like 20 cents, 50 cents a call. You get a pay bump if you can get a pay bump to like $4 a call, which is a pretty big percentage jump. Then you're looking at, I don't know, dollar 50 on average per call versus making uh, at least 4 times that in profit
You know,
from a client.
that little bit there, I'm forgetting the affiliate. I just remembered why. I'm thinking, oh, affiliate sounds good. I was looking at some of the offers and you think, then I just know, I'm just going to remove that from my list. I just forget about affiliate. I remember now why.
It's pretty much across the board. I mean, every
Yeah,
vertical that you can think of in local services and home services, especially every offer I've ever seen, even the good ones that convert well, and you can make profit with. Again, the only reason I would run a campaign like that is to cut my teeth, expand into that market, and optimize campaigns so that I can use them locally with direct to client and or additional revenue, like an additional income stream. That'd be the only reasons why I'd want to expand into that. It's not, those are not bad reasons. So I'm not discouraging you from doing affiliate offers at all. It's quite the opposite. It's just, do you want to start with that? Because to me,
No, now you told me that I don't. I just had to be reminded
you know,
of that.
now it's every man has to, every man and every woman has to make their own decision on that. Um, a lot of people seem to think that I say agency uh, first, but I've worked and trained with people who went offer first. I told them it was their decision. They made their decision, and I helped them right from the offer, and then expand into to local. So or direct to client. So yeah, it's up to you, but
No, sorry.
that's my take on it.
On the bit of prospect I did actually get the hang of Dialer Central. Now, does Leeds Rain work in the same way? That because I'm thinking if I go and put out a voice drop, I'm going to get like 30 calls back at once, or does it stagger them, or does it do?
It's structured similar. It's not 100% the same, obviously, but it is going to be set to where there's no, listen, when you do 500 drops, you're going to get callbacks on top of callbacks. There's just nothing you can
Yeah,
do. I don't care who you run ringless voicemail
yeah,
through. It's
yeah,
going to happen that way. But that's yet another reason why it would be good for you to maybe run it at a slower speed and do it over, a window that you can do that over, and then the next day you do voice broadcasting completely separate, where those are just direct transfers. So um, it's up to you, but I don't know why people don't understand that the name of the game is follow up anyway.
mm,
Anytime I get 30 calls at once, I don't freak out. I get excited because I know
yeah,
I can call those people right back, and it's just as if they called me. Like the power exchange, yes, I understand. They you didn't answer when they called you. At the same time, it's still very much in their recent enough in their mind that
yeah,
they know that I called them earlier, and so we're just trying to play. We're playing tag, and we're trying to connect with each other. That they know that. So the power exchange is loss of power exchange there is very little. Um, I care about more how many callbacks did I get for the day? Did I hit my numbers? And
yeah.
did I
Okay,
follow up with everybody? That's the key. So now, if you're pulling in literally two, three, four at a time, yeah, dial it back down. It's probably too much. Uh, but several hundred drops a day is anywhere from like 500, 700, something like that drops a day is pretty solid for like a 2, 3 hour window. Um, a
okay. So
4 hour would be more
500.
towards the
So
yeah.
if I so how much? Just I know. So if I'm doing 2 hours, which is probably all I can time I've got, very much going to be the end of my day. I've already done a full day's work, so I'm not going to be able to go for 4 hours. I'll be fresh enough. But what get like 300 or something, 400 drops or something in that for my 2 hours of
No,
prospecting
a
or
two
something.
hour a 2 hour window. I'd shoot for 500. I'd shoot for
Okay,
500.
500.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're going to end up with anywhere from 1 to 3%. I've seen higher, I've
Mm-hmm.
seen lower, but on the average, 1 to 3% in terms of callbacks. Um, 1% is 5 on 500. 3% is
Yeah.
15. So 5 to 15 calls. I mean, you can manually dial about 10 an hour, 10 to 15 an hour. So um, that's pretty solid. With towing, it's going to be, you're probably going to get more callbacks than that, but um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's given me yeah, it's just that's helped me a lot. Thank you, mate. It's
Always,
I've just
man.
got all my notes
Always.
there. Anything new coming down the pipe, mate? I see you talking about some new stuff that come in different platforms or something. Is that coming off soon or?
Some new, uh,
Yeah, some
what?
new platforms. I'm guessing YouTube or something, or Facebook or something for
Oh,
platforms to
for
start
ads?
calls on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
some new ad platforms training coming. There's also some organic stuff that's coming. I know people have been wondering about that here lately, and there's some really trick stuff I've run into that I'm going to be able to share. That actually, I wish I could have led. Hindsight is a bitch, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
but if I could have led with one traffic source, even though ads is my favorite way to run phone calls because it's predictable and scalable. I'm not big on organic because there is a level of unpredictability built into it. However, there are some long-term things that I've found that can be implemented relatively quickly, and they're not complicated, and they get results. Uh, that's hard to pass up, right? And it doesn't change as much. It may fluctuate here and there, but it doesn't change like greatly. That's something I have to share with you guys. Yeah. And I wish that I would have had that knowledge prior to teaching you guys ads, or taught you that first instead of ads, because that would be the difference of you. Oh shit, I logged into my back office and I've got 20 phone calls that I could have made money on today. And nothing moves people faster than knowing that they're losing money. 20 calls to you that were qualified that came in that didn't go anywhere, that's $400 to you every day. I mean, how long are you going to sit there and let $400 just get ate up because you're not willing to get a client yet, right? It really puts a fire under people, right? Lights a fire under you. Um, so there's that. Plus, there's people that are strapped, that are doing things bootstrapped, they're strapped financially, that this would obviously help them get a good jump start on. And it's something that, again, because it's organic, has been covered, just not by me, and certainly not with the processes that I have that make things super simple, and don't take months and months for it to actually produce the result. Doesn't even take months, doesn't take weeks, doesn't even take days. Like, we're talking same day kind of shit from organic, which is like, what? So there's some pretty trick stuff. I'll get there, and when I do, you guys will get access to it. It'll be in Ring Ads Classic, don't worry. Um, Case studies and stuff like that will be built on that as well. But yeah, there's stuff coming. There's stuff coming outside of traffic platforms as well. But that's definitely some of the things we're going to be putting together for you guys. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. One other thing, just an idea. I came across some really cool directory software that costs no money in effect, and I told the idea of instead of paying for ClickFunnels on my site, just building a directory. I thought it might add some credibility to the sell, and if I just run the traffic to the directory site, any thoughts on that at all? Or
I have no thoughts on that at all.
okay, just an idea.
Yeah.
Just cheaper than ClickFunnels, and I just thought it might add. Okay, forget it then. No problem. Okay, forget that one. Okay, mate.
Yeah. There's guys that
All right.
teach on directory sites, right? I ain't one of them.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just that I found it and it was really inexpensive, shall we say? And it, like, I haven't got to pay ClickFunnels permanently. And I thought if I could just put them on that, it just looks a bit more credible. Plus, it's a one-off payment, and it's it's all got all the address and everything in it, so all the pages are optimized locally.
You say it's expensive, right? ClickFunnels.
Well, not expensive.
That's what you said.
Okay, fair enough. I did say, yeah.
What do you actually mean then? If that's not what you mean.
Well, the directory was like $50 one time, so compared to like $50 a year versus $1,200 a year.
Versus $1,200 a year, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's based off of the expensive comments, not based off of actual cost, is it?
No, that's
What's
the ClickFunnels is $97 a month, and the software. It's only just an idea. Was like $50 one time.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I'm just we'll get to that in a second. What I'm saying is specific. This is important. I had a conversation the other day, and I'll bring this up with someone in real estate. Is real estate a cheap market?
No.
Typically not. There are lower end of the real estate market, but even that, you're talking transactions that are in the tens of thousands of dollars and up, usually into the millions, right? Mm-hmm. So this person had staff on the call, and I'm talking to, this is a business owner I'm talking to, and they had their staff on the phone, and I'm running them through a strategy that I have personally used to make tons of money in terms of high ticket, and we're talking $25, $35, $50,000 sales. and up. And these people had an offer that they were wanting to do at 25 to 35, somewhere in there. And they had been using a platform called Kajabi. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Good membership platform. It's not horrible,
Yeah.
but it's also not like, it's not the dog's bollocks. It's really, not great. Not great.
Definitely a Brit now, mate. Saying the dog's
Right.
bollocks.
Right. I did that just for you.
On,
Um,
honorary Brit.
yeah. Actually, I've got something just for you. I did this just for you. Is I put a meme together. You're not going to hear it or see it on Zoom, but you'll see it on Facebook later. This is just for you here. Yeah, that was just for you. Anyway, again, you won't see it or hear it on Zoom, but you'll see it and hear it on the Facebook later. So what was I saying? We were talking about oh yeah. So 25 to 35,000, right? For the offer. And they use Kajabi, which there's nothing wrong with that. Kajabi has sales pages, but I'll tell you right now, Kajabi sales pages are absolute shit. And they're horrible to work with. The design is absolutely I'm short of telling you that you really need to know HTML and know your shit and be a good coder for custom, like for CSS and all that kind of custom style sheets. I don't have time to learn that shit. I don't want to learn that shit. I don't need to know that shit. There are a million people out there that I could go hire to do that for me. The problem is they don't know what I know about what needs to be on that page and in what order and form and what it actually needs to end up looking like. All they know is how to code something. So there's a bit of a disconnect there. My point being, they said, well, what would you do? And I said, well, I've got a template that I could give you, no problem, with one click. You guys know how that is, right? In ClickFunnels, just like I do for you guys. I've got a template. And I said, this template is what made me that money. And they're like, okay, that's cool. That's exactly what we're looking for then. It's copy paste and change out the info. And I was like, exactly, you got it. And then the first thing the staff member that I'm thinking of asked was, once we're done implementing this, won't we have to pay ClickFunnels $97 a month? Keep in mind, $25,000 to $35,000 per sale. And that's what the fucking staff member was asking. Not because the staff member is bad, but the mindset's just not in the right place.
No, you're right. You're right. It is.
You're looking at the wrong thing. Right. Now, when it comes to, okay, so that handles the price thing. $97 a month is not expensive at all when you have 24 clients and you're making tens of thousands of dollars a month. It's really, you're going to laugh at that. The directory thing. So here's what I have to say to you on that. And this is for everybody. You guys know this. I don't teach it. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means I can't give you any guidance on something that I don't use or that I don't teach. You know what I mean?
It just got into my head. I come across it and I thought that looked pretty good, but I just want to. I'm happy just to get through and cross that off my list. Basically.
For me, yeah, exactly. For me, it would be something where you bookmark it and you go get a couple dozen clients, and then you come back to it and kick it around, right? Can I help you with that? No, because directory sites is just not my wheelhouse. Yeah. So that two different issues there. I just want to make sure you understood both.
Yeah. No, it's I've already crossed it off. I just forgot about it now.
I wouldn't cross it off. Just again, bookmark it, put it to the side, focus on getting the clients in, get your revenue up, and then you can kick that around, right? Because the thing is, like, a lot of people don't understand this, but when you have staff and you're making tens of thousands of dollars a month and up, you can kick stuff around a lot faster and more when you have that, as opposed to not having that.
There is one other question. I'm sorry, it's just come in. I keep meaning to ask it. I know it varies, but like from my calculations of what you were saying, a customer net should be worth something to me about $750 to $1,200 a month after they've gone through the trial period and
more than that. Yeah, I'd say for towing, start at $1,500 up on net. Yeah, with something dialed in. Yeah, because you're going to be, I mean, in a good high volume area or decent volume even area, you're going to be running, I don't know, at least 5 build calls a day and up. You could do 10 as much as 20 a day. again, depending on the area. But even at 5 bills a day, that's $100 minus your expenses. Um, if each
Yeah.
call, if you're at 2 to 1 on your money, even, which you could do 3 and 4, but let's just say 2 to 1 on your money, then that means you're $50 profit for the day, right? What's 50 times 30?
Oh, yeah, I've had a long week. I can't think of something. 50
Fif-
times 30.
1,500, right?
1,500, yeah.
1,500 profit
So,
because
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
$50. Okay. So at an absolute minimum, you should be doing $1,500 profit per month on
Mate,
towing
I
clients.
get
Yeah.
I get 4 of them. I'm quitting my job.
I,
I get 4 of them. I'm
again,
quitting my job. Yeah,
yeah, I deal with this one too so much.
yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea, but okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I've seen people quit too soon. It's not actually about how many clients you have. I think a lot of people don't understand that. Because you get 4 clients and you quit your job, do you have a business that runs itself?
no,
So then what did you just do?
get himself another job.
Yeah, you quit one job to start another. Congratulations, you big old employee, you, right? That's an employee mindset. I'd much rather you stay at the job, yes, longer than you actually had to, but my God, you know, the difference is, you know what? There was a story time again. When I was in the military, there was a staff sergeant who was happy as a clam. Could not figure out why this guy was so fucking happy. I loved him. Thought he was awesome as an NCO and everything. Looked up to him, smart guy, but just cool and chill, and nothing got to him at all. Uh, and he was I don't know, digging around in his pocket for something to hand to me, and an ATM receipt fell out, right? And of course, I'm not I'm an asshole. I didn't grab at it or nothing. He bends down, picks it up. He sees that I see it, and he says, "You want to see something cool?" And I was like, "Okay." I didn't know it was an ATM receipt. It was a crumpled piece of white paper, right? And he shows it. He smooths it out on the desk or whatever and shows it. And the balance, I shit you not, was $285,000 in change. And I was like, holy
Uh,
shit. Keep in mind, this is for someone who, as an E5, makes is a staff sergeant in the Air Force, would make what 2 grand a month, 2,200, maybe a little more than that now, like $2,300 a month. What is that? 30 less than 30 grand a year.
30 grand, yeah.
All right, and so this guy's got 285 fucking $1,000 in his account, and I'm 23 at the time, so I'm hungry. I'm in the military, but I'm still hungry. I'm entrepreneurial. So I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And he's like, yeah, I did this and that in the business. And there was something about him. And I was like, but you're in the military. He's like, well, yeah, I'm here just like you are to serve. And I was like, that's cool. That's exactly what I would do, right? Give me all the money in the world, but I want to serve. And we were, it made sense to me why he and I were frickin' frack on that kind of stuff. At the same time, I found out that if you're in the military and you make more than, I believe, a couple $1 million, they kick you the fuck out. Did you know that?
No motivation.
They
Do
think that,
now.
well, they think
Yeah,
that you have the
yeah.
possibility of being the potential of being
You're,
corrupted, or not that you
you
are
you won't
corrupted.
take a bullet either. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you're gonna think
You
like
won't take a
someone
nickel up
who,
the ass.
yeah, you're gonna think like someone who's what? Not a soldier, not someone who follows orders, because you make more than anybody that would be under command. Think about that.
Makes sense.
So yeah, uh, and I've heard of stories, rarely, of course, but I've heard of stories where that happens, where they got kicked out um, because of that, not because they were bad soldiers, but because they just made too much money. Sorry, sir, you made too much money. You're going to have to resign your commission, or you're going to have to get the fuck out. And so I'm telling you that to say they got okay. This guy was like, well, I've got a good career here in the military. I'm happy with it. I'm going to serve. I don't know if I'm going to serve my 20. The way things are going, it's looking really good. They might kick me out before I make it to my 20, but if I do, well, then I've got everything in place when I get kicked out, that because it was honorable and everything. Uh, the business is doing well on the outside, and the transition is easy versus trading one job for another. Like he could have got to that $200,000 point and be like, fuck it, I'm out. And then where would he be? very conservative in terms of now. Does that mean that I'm saying you need to stay in your job forever? No. Do I want you to stay in your job forever? No. So it's not about clients or number of clients. What's it actually about? Let's get to the root of it.
You're gonna say
What do you need?
security,
Well, what do you need?
but
Okay, in order to not hear, let me rephrase the question for you. And this is for everybody chiming in, tuning in on the comments too. I see you guys in the comments. I'll get to you in a second. Um, in order to not trade one job for another, even though you're the business owner, it'd still be self-employed. In order not to do that, what do you have to do? What do you have to have in place? Is it 10 clients? Is it 100 clients? Is it any clients at all? Is it even based on clients? What's it based on? Gave you a lot of hints there.
I would have thought it's based on my, well, the way I see it, if I've got net profit of X, my job isn't sales anyway. I don't get like a basic or anything. So if I've got recurring income and I can just build the call only business quicker, that's how I see it.
Okay.
I think I've lost it.
What happens when you have problems in the business?
Get problems and then deal with it.
Every business has problems, right? And problems come up in every
Yeah.
business. What happens when that happens?
Well, you just deal with it, don't you? From what angle, like you say problems, you mean?
Okay, let me back up. You said 4 clients, I'm quitting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that type of money.
What happens when you lose? What happens when you lose one? That's okay. We're talking net. What happens when you lose one?
Go and get some more.
Go and get some more, yes. But in the meantime, what happens? You go from 4 to what?
Yeah, sorry. You get 4 to 3, so your income dropped by 1,500 a month.
Which is also considered to be 25%. You just took a 25% hit. That's a lot. So obviously more clients would definitely be part of the answer to this question, right? To this conundrum. How do you trade? How do you avoid trading one job for another, right? What else? Why did you lose that client? Most likely, I can tell you right now, the reason why you lost that client, other than the fact that they might not have been a good fit, was because you didn't have the systems and processes in place to run the business. Meaning you're left to do it all, which is the self-employed part, trading one job for another. So what do you need in place in order to not trade one job for another? More than clients even. What do you need?
Staff?
Not just staff, but what? Because staff that doesn't know how to do jack shit, is that good?
Trained staff? Agency manager?
Right, but trained on what?
You got me there, mate. You lost me, sorry.
You want a business that runs itself, right? An agency that runs itself and grows itself. Both. So what do you need?
Train staff and more customers and systems and processes. No?
Right. You're going to need to really give that a lot more thought and get very specific on that, because otherwise you're going to stick to that whole. You're going to subscribe to that whole mindset of, I'm going to get $6,000 a month in and I'm going to bounce. And I've seen people quit their job before they were ready to leave without enough systems and processes in place. They did have some, mind you. But I've seen people do that, quit their job, make $80,000 a month in their agency, and tank it to fucking $3,000 a month within 2 months of doing that.
I remember you told me that. I remember.
And it's not the only time it's happened. I've seen it happen again and again and again, and it's because people don't understand it's not based on the number of clients you have or how much money you're necessarily pulling in per client. It's based on, can the business run itself without you around, and can it grow itself without you around? When you reach that point, you are now, congratulations, an actual business owner, working towards the investor quadrant. If you look at the cash flow quadrant, what is that? The rich dad, poor dad shit. So instead of trading one job for another, so that would be employed to self-employed, which is pretty much the same thing for our intents and purposes. You got to have a business that runs itself and grows itself. Otherwise, and the staff and the training, yes, and the systems and processes in place to do that. So it's not about getting to the point where you have $6,000 a month coming in, or 4 clients, or 20 clients. It doesn't matter, because you could have 100 clients, and guess what? If shit goes bad and you don't have systems and processes in place, and you haven't been running the business long enough to encounter those problems before you left the job that you had, even though it's commission only for you, I'm talking to everybody here. Um, there's not as much of a safety net there. You just burned your bridge, or burned your ship behind you, and you did not set yourself up for success, right? Because those problems could have easily been addressed, or those challenges could have easily been addressed had you not had that trade one job for another thing going on, right? You want to
Right.
you want to walk out of the job. Uh, you want to walk out of the job where, when you leave, people are congratulating you and almost not understanding why you are leaving such a great opportunity. Like, it's got to be that good of an exit in order for you to really be able to, let's say, not miss a beat and continue capitalizing. Like, you could leave at you can hire your position one and position two and have the entire sales department grow in the business for you. Is it time to leave yet? No. Now you spend your time, your 1 to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Instead of spending it on closing people, you now spend it on campaign management and optimization, and hiring and training that person and making sure that's all dialed in. And then you move to support. By the time you get to where you're ready, you're not ready to hire an agency manager, but you are running it as an agency manager, and you need to hire and train someone for that position. Then it's time to start looking at your job as completely redundant and unnecessary.
I think
um,
I better maybe forget that idea and just focus on 2 hours of prospecting as many times as I can. 2 hour
yeah.
session, sorry. That's all I've really got to focus on now, I suppose.
Right now, yeah, and later, like I
Yeah.
said, your time investment, yeah, your time
So I'm
investment
still there,
doesn't.
mate.
Yeah, I got you. Your time investment doesn't change. What changes is what you do during that time. So yeah, starting out for you, prospecting for where you're at, is a good use of your time. At a certain point, when you've hired and trained your position one and your closer, uh, and sales has been managed, you'll have some management tasks there to manage that staff, but most of the rest of your time is going to be spent on the other systems and processes of the business. So your time of sales has kind of not come to an end, but you're not needed on the phone anymore. You just fired yourself from that in the agency. Now it's time to get good at the campaign side, and then it's time to get good at the support side of the and retention side of the equation for the agency. Then it's time to build up a nest egg, make sure all debts are paid, and then quit the job. You know, um, that's not the only way to do it, but that's certainly one of the better ways. You know what I mean? Um, could you quit and make it? Sure. Uh, I've seen people that didn't know how to swim get thrown in and learn how to swim. I've also seen a lot of those people drown. So it's
Just the information. That's what my dad did to me. He used to literally throw me, old school, my dad, you know what I mean? Literally throw me in the deep end when I couldn't swim.
dang.
Uh,
Well,
uh, but
that
it makes you swim.
sucks. Yeah, you learn to
I learned to
swim or
swim
you
very young,
don't.
though, so I learned to swim very young. So,
Well, that's
um,
good. Well, I hope
yeah.
that helps you. It's not that
Yeah,
I
it
want
does.
people to it's not that I want people to stay in their jobs, man. I want you to get out of there quick. Uh, and you can, if you build the right systems and processes in place and start focusing on the right things. Not that, hey man, you get 4 clients, I'm happy for you. I'm excited because I also know what that means. But if that's all you do and you don't build systems and processes along the way or after to support that, you're just another self-employed dude. You're still pretty much an employee. You're just the employee that's able to call the shots. Um, for some reason, a lot of people don't seem to understand that. I hope that example explains it for everybody. I know it made sense to Andy, but
Yeah.
if you're in the if you're watching right now in the comments, let me know if that makes sense to you or not. And I'm not trying to beat anybody up, and I'm not being judgy about whether you're an employee or not. I'm trying to get you out of the situation you're in if you're unhappy with it, right? Um, I just know that there's leaving, and then there's leaving with you holding all the aces, and I like to be the guy holding all the aces when I make a leave, when I have to jump, um, because anything less is a real pain to deal with, and leaves you exposed to uh, a lot of bad stuff, right? Not good stuff. So Colin says yes, cool. Um, any other
You,
questions,
you,
Andy?
you, not really, mate. I had a list of stuff in, and we've gone through everything, all the questions I had. I mean,
Sweet.
it's all come back now. Now we've gone through all. It's just like just a few things are just floating around my head of what I wasn't sure about, but just got to start prospecting. That's it. There's nothing much. I mean, they set up done. I even tested it through an ad, and it's bang. I still get the live tow truck calls come through. I get the notification. It still works. But yeah, everything's there. So I just got to start
Sweet.
prospecting basically.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
I'll put the shall I tell people I sort of maybe put some stats in the group. What do you think?
Always, yeah. If you
Okay.
if you want accountability, that's the best place to get it. Absolutely. I'll chime in, of course. Um, but
Okay.
anytime I can, anytime I can help you, whether it's mindset, whether it's the actual functions of the business, if you need to know what the next steps are, I'm here for you on that stuff, right? Um, whatever it is you need, I'll make sure that you get it.
I honestly, mate, you've been brilliant. I mean, we spent a lot of time last year and leading up to the Christmas stuff. It's just everything. There's nothing, like I said, there's nothing more for me to do than actually start. Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I know that learning
I've
curve.
got to pay ClickFunnels. Apart from that, I've got to pay ClickFunnels to get the sites back.
You got a
I
what?
cancelled it. So
You got a what? Sorry.
pay ClickFunnels. Pay Russell Brunson.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
The ClickFunnel.
yeah,
That's it. That's all I do.
yeah, yeah. And by the way, that's not a stab at anybody that's bootstrapping and can't quite afford ClickFunnels, right? But if you're looking at acquiring a bunch of clients in a short time frame and you're worried about $97 a month, you're probably worried about the wrong thing, you know.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Especially for you, like one client for you more than pays for that, and you're still in the black. Is it time to quit the job? No. You know, um, it's just not time yet, right? But you will get there, and relatively quickly. You can get there within, I'm telling you, man, you put your head down and you work hard at this, you can get there within 3 to 4 months. There's no doubt. Even over the summer, in the typically not as great months, this summer is unique because, like I said, everything's opening up, and so there will be an increase in business, not a decrease. Um, and that's good for everybody, right? Because typically June and July are just bleh for sales for us. Not that they're horrible; they do exist, but it's a perfect time if you don't want to go after new client acquisition, typically to build the business structure, right? So systems and processes, a couple clients here and there, do a lot of follow up, and that's about it for June and July. Usually, this June and July, all bets are off, man. Good time to go get clients. Everything's opening back up. So over here, I'm saying. So
That's what I'm going to be doing it
yeah,
throughout the summer holidays. I've got to have quite a bit of free time, like I said to you. So I'm just going to get on and
yeah,
do it basically.
take advantage of that. Absolutely,
Okay.
take
All right, man. Well,
advantage.
listen, I'm going to thank you for your time and see if anybody else wants to get on the Zoom call.
Yeah, I don't see anybody in the
So,
waiting room. If you want to come in, ask questions, feel free
hey,
to.
before I go, how you been, mate? Have you anything? I've Max back. Sorry, hold on. How
What?
you been? I said,
I'm
my
good.
Mac's about to die. I've got to plug it in before it dies. I just realised.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Um, just been busy, busy, man, as always. I'm actually a little tired today, but that's because I didn't sleep as great last night. Um, everything's fine except for my OBS intro. I'm not able to hear it. I'll have to fix that and figure that out. But yeah, everything's good.
All good.
Yep, yep.
Been to the gun range? I
Not
say we
lately.
close. What are they?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
lately. I haven't even bothered. Haven't even bothered. There's this. I don't know if you've heard of this or not, but there's this what's called dry fire technology, um, which enables you to practice like with a compressed air setup. with your actual firearm, right? And you can practice in the house because it's compressed air. There's no bullets, and
Okay.
yeah, there's like sensors and all that kind of stuff. And so I have done that a couple times, just for giggles, just to see uh, what that was like versus just going to the range. It's obviously a lot cheaper. Not that cost is that big of a deal to me, but rounds ammo's actually not just expensive in terms of what it used to cost. It's also rare nowadays. So I'm not trying to go and spend a bunch of not money, but spend a bunch of rounds at the range that I could be saving to, actually use when there's dry fire technology that is effectively the same thing, at least around the house anyway.
Does it have a recoil? I mean, if there's no
Oh yeah,
bullet, there's
it's
no
compressed
recoil, is
air.
it?
No, it's compressed air. So there's a
Compressed
little bit
air
of a,
simulates the
it's a little bit
simulates the
of a,
recoil.
yeah, a little bit of a recoil. It's not going to be like what an actual, 9 mil or 45 would be. And it's certainly not loud. It's just compressed air. But man, does it do the trick. It does. And it helps because you can set up, like I said, these electronic targets and stuff. And so it helps for you if you want to like get better at clearing rooms and clearing corners and things like that. Uh, Reaction times, just to see what things would be like from left hand versus right hand. And you actually, the really cool thing about it to me is that you're actually using your own weapon, which means it's something that just it's a barrel change out, so it goes into your actual firearm, and that to me is pretty cool because that means it's going to be the same trigger weight, right? It's the same feel and everything, so it's as good as actually spending rounds in the house without having to without the mass inconvenience of spending rounds in the house and having holes everywhere. It's pretty slick. So yeah, I haven't made
You
it out
still
to the
got to
range
do
though.
you still got to
Uh,
do an office pop, mate. Was it desk pop in it or
st-
office pop?
yeah,
Office pop.
Despot, Despot.
Desk pop,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah.
it.
I have not done a dry fire desk pop yet, but now that you mention that, I'll have to go and do that now. Anyway,
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
all right,
All
my
right, mate.
man,
Well, listen,
get to it,
good to
and
talk to you, mate. Good to see you.
you too. Post in the group and keep us
All good, mate.
updated, and I'll be happy to chime in and help you out where I can. Okay.
All right, mate. You take care, mate. God bless,
You
mate.
too, bud.
Cheers,
You
buddy.
too.
Bye-bye. Bye.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, mate.
Okay, we had some comments. I just want to make sure that we answer those. Uh, Troy says, good day. Got your email. Appreciate the response. Extremely busy with the side project I took on. I'll get back to your email reply next month. No worries. Next month. That's like in a few days. No worries. Email me when you can, Adrian. Let's see. Quessy's here, said good evening. I'll catch the replay. Cool. And Dennis chimed in. Colin chimed in. Okay. Anybody want to come on live? Come on live. You guys got the link. It's inside the comment section. If you want to ask questions in the comment section, ask questions in the comment section. Either way, I'll be able to be happy to help you. I will say this: if nobody's intending on coming on, then we'll make this last call because I'm not trying to keep anybody longer than we have to. It's Friday. I don't want you guys mentally checking out on me, right? No, seriously, I don't like to stay on longer than I have to help you guys get done what you need to get done. So if you need help with something, let me know what that is. I'll help you. If not, we'll just take this little bit of time we have here to this last little bit of time we have here together to wrap this thing up and put it in the history books. I am serious about the calling. I do like the idea of live calling, among other things like live optimization, stuff like that. It's something I haven't done in quite a while, and apparently there's a pretty solid response to that. So a positive response, and a lot of people. So that tells me exactly what I need to know. You guys want to see that kind of stuff more often. So that's noted, and I'll see what I can do about setting that up for June 14th's call. We'll load up some Ringos voicemail and some voice broadcasting and some email, and we'll go to town and see if we can pull some clients in on a Monday. Because I think that, yeah, the calls in June are on Monday. Nobody? Everybody's good? Hey, if you're good to go, type in good to go. If you're good to go, type in good to go, and I'll leave you guys alone. I promise. If you're good to go, type in good to go, and I will leave you be, at least till June 14th. And of course, if you have questions along the way, just like what Andy was asking, ask in the group. I have no problems answering those. Colin says, all good. See you Monday. Yeah, Colin, you're in the mentorship, right? So I'll see you Monday. And yeah, looking good. Okay, guys. Well, let's bounce out of here. I'm anxious to see how it looks when I look at the camera more often now that I've got a little bit of a different setup with the camera. So that'll be fun to go and take a look at myself and judge like a mother, right? Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on June 14th. And as always, happy to help. Post in the group, ask questions, and let's get you guys moving forward on getting your next few clients or your first few clients and grow things from there. So always happy to help. I'll see you guys June 14th. Those of you in the mentorship, I'll see you over in that group on this coming Monday, which happens to be Memorial Day. So, all right, guys, bye for now.
Cool. You fall. Back on my shit with a new advantage. I leave it up to you to settle the damage. Diamond, yeah, I know it's foreign to him. I came from the guts of rural Alabama. Steph Curry wrist, watch with the handle. Simple motors, gotta lead by example. Not too many make it out when they doubt. Never been about bailing off of my route. Rain gang, got the city HD. Hate to see my brother die every week. Numb to your vision. My life got me too fucked up. Disrespect to make a nigga go dumb. Little talking while you nursing that bitch will turn you to a scrub. I let prices from the plug. Bay Shore, Ocean View, or win Adidas with the boots. Niggas out here slinging arbitrage, so the money really know it's due. Welcome to the realm.